Okay. So we'll be going back to the Galactic War. And in the Galactic War, this is the one that's almost won. Because I'm starting to get better at this game. In the Galactic War, you travel from system to system, taking out faction leaders, and of course, I saved the faction leaders for last to see which ones have the best loot. Because I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but if the last faction leader has the best loot, then the game ends immediately and you can't collect it. So yeah, that sucks, and I'm playing this one. But there's no more good loot to be had, so let's go beat the Synchronous on a system with 3 metal planets. And when I say beat, I mean try to beat. In the single-player campaign at normal, almost every battle is trivial. I'm not really being challenged anymore, except the boss battles, because the faction commanders get a few special details. This one, for example, he'll get like 3 commanders across 3 planets. That can only be tough. The worst one, of course, is the Revenant's commander, who gets not only like 4 commanders across 4 planets, but all the planets have engines, or are collidable planets. So it's the one special map where you can actually spawn on a collidable planet, and also it's the one so that they've spawned on them and they have plenty spare. Because if there was just 2 collidable planets, then they can't collide them or they die too. But no, here they have 2 spare ones. So that means that if you don't quickly manage to conquer at least 3 planets, you're doomed entirely. That battle's hard. And that's why we're leaving the Revenants to last, and we're doing the Synchronous today. This loading screen is actually the one of the slowest loading screens in any game. I usually walk away here and just see what else is up. But in this case, I will continue explaining Planetary Annihilation. One of the few games where it's actually well named. Total Annihilation, you don't really destroy everything. StarCraft, you don't really design and build stars. But in Planetary Annihilation, you do annihilate planets. You have multiple mechanisms for annihilating planets. There's the signature planet rockets that you build on planets and crash them into other planets. They also recently added the Annihilation, which is the Death Star. It's one of the metal moons can have a giant super laser on it, which destroys other planets. That's the sort of annihilation you get here. And there's just gradual steps of annihilation. So you can start with little bots and skirmishes. You can go up to artillery. You can do nukes. Then you can crash planets into each other. Then the lasers. There's a annihilation at every scale. And maybe that's why the loading screen is so incredibly long. So they can give you a sense of scale. Have a look at the size of this loading screen. Okay, I'm awed by the scale. You may start now. Please, continue. The bigger planets systems, of course, take longer. These are huge maps by any standard. Except the standard of Supreme Commander, actually. Because since it's split up among planets, and you can actually quickly travel between any 2 planets, it feels smaller than those 80 by 80 maps you could get in Supreme Commander. Oh, I forgot to change the title. Whoops. Good thing there's still a loading screen for me to fix this. I wonder if there's anything else I need to fix. Unfortunately, I can't fix the loading screen. So, we will come back. No? I keep thinking that if I just look away for a moment, it'll be there. Because not only is there a long loading screen that I go away from for a while, but even in single player, there is a timeout on the ready process that you're about to see. I have had cases where I walk away and come back and it's, oh, the computer player just got a 5-minute head start. Okay, so which planets spawn on? I want a defensible location on a metal planet which is accessible by ground. This one is not quite accessible by ground. Those trenches are, but they just don't give very good coverage. Kupru Beta. Alright, that one's trench accessible. That's Crapway trench accessible. That's not... oh dear. I do not have a good spawn location. Just don't have one. I'm going to have to take... alright, let's go to Kupru Prime. Probably screwed. There are 3 enemy commanders. I don't have air, because in the Galactic War loadouts, I just don't have air today. I've gone for a full orbital and vehicles. So orbital will have to be my savior. Just love those aerial commands for when you're doing tons of building things. So the easy way that orbital can be my savior is not actually that easy. Hang on. If there's a gas giant, you can get all your resources from the gas giant using the orbital fabrication bot, and then it's so easy. If only because the computer doesn't know how to attack that. But here, no, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to use the orbital fabrication bots on the offense while I collect resources on this section of the metal world. If I can just defend this little section here, and it's not accessible by land, so I can do it using defensive structures mostly. If I can defend that, that should be enough metal to go build a base on Kupru Gamma. It'll be tight, but if I do it fast enough, it should work. Kupru Gamma is the one with the engines. And that's a lot of engines. Really, I just need to collect Kupru Gamma to make sure they don't use against me, which 4 engines is actually going to take a while. I'm going to redesign this plan, actually. If I use the orbital to take control of this planet, I should be able to attack the other 2 planets simultaneously before they finish building 4 Halleys. Because 4 Halleys is a lot. They're fairly expensive. They decided that it wasn't a good idea to just land on a planet, launch it into your enemy, and then laugh. It's always a game-ending moment. Now, I will definitely need radar. Anchor or... yeah, I'd love to have the factory, but I don't have an economy capable of supporting it at this time. So, because this guy moves a bit slowly... okay. Radar should move faster. And we're going to need a factory at some point. Oh dear. They're not nearby. It's easier when they're nearby. How much energy does the radar here take? 300, good. The advanced radar satellite has much better range. It would have seen them by now. It takes 9,000 energy. My economy just isn't ready for that. You know, they must be on the other side of the planet. I'm just going to preemptively go there while you continue to go around the equator for better vision, and you go around the equator in the other direction. There we go. And you go over the top, and you build stuff. Okay. Oh, I forgot storage. Really helps when all you're doing is just walking your commander around the place. To have a bit of storage for those times when he's not building anything. But right now my commander is my ultimate builder. Largely due to loadout bonuses, less due to his normal high building speed. We're going to need more anti-air really fast. So let's work on that. On the plus side, he's building air units, he's not building orbital units. That means there is going to be some opportunity here. Okay. There's one opportunity. Oh, he's over there. Well, time to go over there. Wonder if I should use gates or orbital transports to move about on my own planet. Not exactly a mini map, but it works very well. Okay. So the trick here is orbital bombardment and containment. You do the containment. You do the bombardment. And unless he's got an umbrella, we're fine. Yes, that I realize that sounds a bit funny when you just say it aloud, but the umbrella is a unit that shoots. It's an ion cannon that shoots into the space from the ground. It's your go-to protection against any orbital attack. It looks like that. So I'm gonna bet on building things faster than him. He's already got one. What? It's like they increased the intelligence of the AI for the boss battles. Well, as you can see, the orbital anti-orbital laser is very effective anti-orbital things. And yeah, we're screwed on this planet. So I'm going to just build that there, and then I'll try a different planet. I mean, if I can't win this one, you can't win them all. I may have to accept that and just go somewhere else. That's fine. How are we on the other planet? Well, that area is fairly clear, and then let's check for umbrellas. Now, in theory, if I'm kind of forced into it, I could try rushing to planet smashing. I don't like it because it's not exactly a good map for rushing this on. Requires 4 engines. And there's no metal here. If it required 4 engines and this planet was full of metal, it looks full of metal. Looks can be deceiving. Metal is green dots in this game. But if it was full of metal, I could just go there, fortify there, and all I have to do is jump off it for a second in order to not die when it crashes. But that's not going to work. But this guy doesn't seem to have umbrellas. Nope, there it is. Well, they're doing too well. They're doing just too well. After the commander finishes if the commander finishes getting the metal, I think I'm just going to have to run to Crew Gamma. I actually seem to have tons of resources, which might make that easier. Or should I say feasible. Then I just crash one planet into another, and things are a little easier. Not as much as you'd think, but a little easier. They did not do a good job at escort duty. I may have to fire them. They appear to already be covered in fire, but there might not be enough fire. The AI beat me to the orbital defense. It's shocking, really. I'm going to have to then have the commander build these. Orbital... oh, that's right. That was actually the one in the air. That was kind of expected. We'll get it back after we finish building this. And our air will be, or our aerospace will be secure again. Could really use one of those. Gate. So let's see. Unfortunately, this is where I really want air. Some air units would be really good. And the limitations on the databanks means I do not have air units. At all. Not even the most basic of air units. This commander lit as the artillery commander, which means that I get the most advanced of artillery that takes tons of energy to fire, and that means I don't want to build it until I have yeah, more aerospace presence. Solar panels are actually very effective at generating energy in this game because they're in space. Apparently that makes the sunlight extra bright, and we're fine. They probably are going to be over there too pretty soon. Now, one thing they don't have is they don't have mass fabrication units or matter fabrication units like they did in Total Annihilation and in Supreme Commander, and it was generally considered a bit of a balance problem because you just turtle up and build fabricators. At one point early in Supreme Commander, it made more economic sense to build fabricators than to go out and build mass extractors. That was a bit of a problem. They've taken the easy way out here and avoid it by not having fabricators at all. But which works but feels a bit cheap to me. Anyway, orbital will have to be how I compensate for a lack of air. Yeah. Now, sometimes these trenches line up with the dividers. I don't know if it's intentional that they didn't sometimes. I don't know if it's just buggy. But sometimes the trenches line up, and sometimes there's holes you can walk through. And when there aren't, you need air on metal planets. So yeah, in this case there aren't. Bugger. Well, let's... Can he? No. Okay. I've never actually tried having the commander assist orbital building before. It doesn't sound like it should work, and it doesn't. But you know, worth a shot. Orbital radar does not show anything at the Gamma planet, so we're going to try going there. Just give it a shot. If you go to some place where the enemy has defenses with your commander in a fragile transport, that's usually instant death. The computer does it all the time. They're really dumb. It's sad but true. They're just so dumb. Well, now we have basic defenses. Let's start getting up more advanced stuff. And hope that they don't try and overwhelm me with lots of air units. That would be bad. Turns out there is an advanced air defense that I don't have. So we're really kind of suffering the lack of data blueprints here. But we have an advanced factory. That's the minimum. The minimum bar is to have an advanced factory. Alright, now I can work on my energy deficit. And then I have just so much metal stored up because of that one metal storage. Wow, that should do me for... Oh shit. Well, the commander may have to retreat pretty quickly, or let's see. Maybe there'll be some reinforcements teleporting to his position real soon. Okay, solar panels for energy. At some point I'll need advanced metal. But I'm going to be a little paranoid to do the anti-nuke first. That's the advanced metal. And another thing they didn't bring back from Supreme Commander is shields, which actually makes attacking a lot more plausible. With shields, you can create some really, really strong defenses around really otherwise fragile units, such as mass extractors. Okay. No, you do not get to build a factory today. No factory for you. And yes, he can continue building while shooting, which is going to prove slightly useful for a second here. And finally, I'm draining that mass. And of course, the teleporters, another new thing. I was actually really miffed at there not being ferry mode. I loved ferry mode in Supreme Commander. I thought that was just genius. And its ferry mode is really nice and far more realistic, but for convenience, you can't beat teleporters. Just can't beat teleporters for convenience. And they've managed to balance it actually fairly reasonably. I'm happy with how they balanced teleporters, because as you may know from StarCraft, sometimes it's a little overpowered to just be able to instantly teleport whole armies across the map. But they've given it some speed, and they've given limitations. They've made it so you have to actually keep a structure alive. I assure you this can be difficult at times. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to try and build a hardpoint area which will contain Halleys. Because I really need a super weapon right now. So we're just going to build a super weapon. Part of this hardpoint will be, of course, anti-air. They seem to be liking air a lot. But we're also going to have Hulkins. Which is the giant cannon of the game. For full range of devastation. You don't go straight to planets. There's a variety of artillery pieces, and we're going to use some of those. So we're going to send more fabricators into there over time. There we go. That will do. Okay, we've got our anti-nuke. We can start building more advanced mass or metal fabricators. Still coming into this a bit from Supreme Commander perspective. Okay, and now we have plenty of resources. Let's start to take back the sky. With the only orbital fighter, and yeah, I don't really know what else to really do orbitally. Probably should get some laser cannons and more defensive emplacements, but I just don't quite have the resources for it because of how aggressively I want to start building super weapons. Ultimate super weapons that put all the other super weapons to shame. As you can guess, that's expensive. We're draining my metal reserves, something fierce. Yeah, I should cut production there to avoid draining my metal reserves even more. I really should add more umbrellas here because those solar panels aren't exactly tough. They will need some help in defense. On the plus side, I am overdoing it on the fabricators, so we are really powering ahead. Uh-oh. So the trick is that they're invulnerable while moving from their planet. If they spend all their time between planets, it's really hard to take them out, and they still produce energy. which I think is actually overpowered. I think that the solar panels should stop producing energy while moving, well, in between planets. Then they'd be a little more vulnerable because you can't just say, oh, I'm being attacked. Time to jump around. I don't know what happens, though, if the planet they're going to has been destroyed. Maybe that's how it's supposed to work to stop their solar panels. Well, in the meantime, all we want to do is cut production of everything that's not giant super weapons or more metal. Unfortunately, that's what we're working on right now. We want either giant super weapons or more metal. Anything else is a waste of metal. And we've already got one Halley, so this actually seems feasible. At some point, I'm going to need to build an advanced radar to choose where do I shoot my one-use super weapon. Probably not this planet, but it can be hard to choose sometimes. As long as my commander isn't there, I can afford to take the chance of finding out how much of the planet will be destroyed. Only when it's a small planet versus a small planet do they both get just totally annihilated. Small planet versus large planet, you just rip a huge chunk out of the surface. It's still enough to be inspiring, but it doesn't destroy the entire planet. Well, it destroys the small one. Anyway, let's have a look at the relative sizes here. I'm beta, gamma. You know, I think those are pretty evenly sized. So I'm going to assume that it's going to take out the whole planet, but I should still aim at a commander. When you're firing your one-use super weapon, I think you should make a basic attempt to aim. Seems less irresponsible. Okay, we're about halfway there. This is actually going a lot faster than I anticipated. I thought that there was no way I would get this planet up before I get carpet nuked into oblivion. But no nukes have launched yet. They're just defending themselves fairly well. They've got more advanced air than I can probably deal with. I will bring my commander back through the portal, I think. Over here. The one nice thing about how dumb an AI player is that if you build defenses, they will come and throw away all their resources against your defenses. And that means that there is one commander here, unfortunately only one, who is wasting most of his time. Now I just need to get that up from... Now I need to destroy the other two, and I should be okay. Those umbrellas are just ridiculously strong. I think that's the point. You need to be able to keep the space above you clear somehow. Ah. Someone can't get through. And yet we're still positive mass. Well, if it's positive mass, that means that I can start building something. Like a giant artillery piece here, just because this is the artillery commander. Giant artillery just seems to mean less these days. My goodness. In order to actually hit his base, I have to come over here. Well, I guess there are bigger gradations of super weapon for when I need them. Here's one. And it's almost at ready. 3 of 4. Oh, I am ready to annihilate. Where will we send our planet? The planet is at our beck and call. This looks like a good spot. There's a lot of traffic there. Yes, the planet will smash through those things. Yeah, that's probably the best shot, but I should come... bring the advanced radar satellite over here. And then straight back. That will give us a bit of a glance. And... Syzyx located, it's there. Okay. Well, the Syzyx is going to give me pause. Not quite yet. Oh, did I? Yes, okay. Seeing that land, I'm thinking, did I build conventional defenses, or are all those things terribly exposed? Because I actually forgot to build almost any lasers. Those are my only 2 lasers, but I have some tanks, and of course, enough anti-air. The real trick would be if I could somehow convince them to move all their commanders to this planet, but I doubt that. In fact, they're probably going to move all their commanders to this planet when I launch the planet. But there's not much I can do about that. I only have one giant super weapon to play with today. Oh dear, they have the advanced air, which actually is able to take out air defense because it has greater range, and it just sits there. But fortunately, they're not that smart. Also has a lot of hit points for air. I do hope my super weapon is ready soon. Excellent. Super weapon complete. Everybody go home. In the meantime, Kupru Beta. Goodbye, Kupru Beta. So, that should decrease a bit the amount of enemy I need to worry about. Now I can focus on winning this one world, which is going to require the artillery, some more space, and then I'm thinking some space lasers. He's patrolling the area and he doesn't want to finish building that. Here, I thought that would make things faster. Okay. So, for taking this place out, we're going to have a bit of that. We probably should have some... Oh, there's the nukes incoming. I do have basic anti-nuke that I need, but I'm going to start supplementing it and moving my commander back within range. And I hope that nuke, yes, that nuke was launched from Kupru Prime, probably from around here. And look, there's something's coming. Something big. They need to work on the two planets annihilating each other graphics, but it has the effect that I wanted. So that's 2 commanders down, 2 planets down. Finally, this system that just felt way too big for me is feeling a little more manageable. Okay, so now we have our more manageable system. Let's start. There's the nuke, there's the anti-nuke. I can see it now. They'll have an expansion where there's an anti-planet weapon that just shoots another smaller planet to intercept the planet. But they don't have that yet, and until they do, planets are not exactly stoppable. Oh wow, those defenses are holding out against the Hornets much better than I expected. Oh yeah, no, I was really worried about that, but the nuke was on the other planet, so I can afford not to have these anti-nukes for now, which is good because of how immensely much power those guys take up. I'm gonna have to actually build terrestrial power stations, which I don't like doing. But yeah, they've balanced nukes and anti-nukes in the way that not only is it expensive to build, but every second you're trying to build some nuke, it's going to be draining a ridiculous amount of your power. Not too much of your mass. You can save that for more tanks or something, but it's powerful. But okay. Oh wait, now that the nuke is no longer a big threat, I might be able to come here in time to save the Hulkins. That'll be nice. Yeah, that's not happening, but I can go build more. Can always build more. Okay, now that we have power again, let's bring the anti-nuke back online. You'll see it's like 10,000 per anti-nuke. 9,000 nukes cost twice as much power. It's probably an extremely bad idea to send my commander out to try and take out the anti-air force. I love how the commander has anti-air now. It was just ridiculous in Supreme Commander, Total Annihilation. The counter to the commander was build a single bomber he can't shoot up. And you've won! The commander's destroyed. He can shoot up now. It's not like he's going to stop that. But a single bomber is no longer GG everyone agreed that was a little excessive. But I think that's enough anti-air now that I can start building more anti-air. Let's just start dragging long lines of anti-air everywhere. We do need the mass very badly. Let's see. So that should suffice for managing this downhill area. Okay, I guess it's time to look into space. Because I just got the orbital laser platforms. Early game, they're virtually another super weapon. At this point in the game, I'm not entirely sure how you manage to use them effectively, but, you know, I'll give it a shot. I could use more umbrellas. One thing I don't like about their drag select, sometimes it's area, sometimes it's line, and of course sometimes you want area, sometimes you want line, but you can't choose. I want a line of umbrellas, I can't actually drop a line of umbrellas. If I want a circle of anti-air, I can't actually drop a circle of anti-air. But of course, it's all forgiven just from the ability to say, well, I want this planet defended from space. Build umbrellas over every square inch. Well, to cover virtually every square inch. And it just takes care of that for you. I mean, one-click commands to say, just cover this planet in metal extractors. Cover this planet in other powerful things. Did he say anti-nuke launcher? Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. I think that I can safely cover this upper area with air, and he doesn't seem to be expanding that much to the side. So once I do that, that will cut off his resources somewhat, significantly. Which I'm surprised at. He really should be better, but oh well. It's the dumb one of the limited number of AIs over here, I guess. Uh-oh. Now, if only I could, you know, have air units. So they've got anti-nuke, I've got nuke. Not that I can expedite construction because I don't quite have the mass, but I love this game. It gives me an opportunity to say I don't quite have the mass. Not something I normally say in my day-to-day life. I am, of course, saying it wrong. It's supposed to be metal, but oh well. Old habits die hard. We're actually getting some really decent metal construction here. And that's going to keep pressuring them while we destroy everything over here with orbital laser satellites. These are actually pretty cool. And this is their anti-nuke within range of my artillery. That's actually a really good idea. Why don't I take out the anti-nuke with the artillery? And the answer is the artillery takes a long time to recharge. But other than that, I think it's a good idea. And boom! There goes the anti-nuke. How's my nuclear missile looking? It's not looking done enough, especially compared to theirs. Given the location of their ion defense, that one's down. This side is actually vulnerable to ion attack, to orbital attack. Whoops, did I build another SSX by accident? Oh wow, he got pretty close. So, if the ion cannons just can't cover this side, we're going to take out his nuke launcher from space. Also, maybe the bot factory. I don't think we'll be able to get much closer than that, but... you know, every little bit helps. Unless I wait so long that he gets to launch the nuke, in which case it didn't help. But he's being patient, which is very nice of him. There's my nuke. Oh, I'm not being patient at all. Look at that thing go. Ah, the one last commander. Now, nukes do destroy orbital stuff, so you guys better clear out. Clear out faster, please. If there was another planet, I could have them warp to him, but I don't think that's going to work. Oh, just shoot the commander in case you can do a little bit more damage. He needed just a little bit more damage, but the nuke cleared out everything defending him. So I think that's it. Orbital destruction coming. Good thing that they can aim through the clouds with their laser instruments, and there we go! Zergovix is saying that it sounds like an extremely steep learning curve. That's actually kind of the point of the campaign. I don't have to worry about air or bots. I don't have access to those, and you accumulate technologies gradually. But the learning curve is vastly reduced if you have played Total Annihilation or Supreme Commander before, because the concepts are virtually identical to Total Annihilation. That's why it makes such an excellent spiritual successor to Total Annihilation.